So, all right. So when you finally do decide to say, all right, I'm not returning back to school. I'm not going to school. Like, what was it outside of, or was it just the business and the, maybe the future that you seen for your business? Like, what was it that just deterred you to say, okay, I'm not doing this no more. I'm going full fledged into my business, supporting my dreams. Like, what was that? Like, what happened in the midst of that?
So for me, I really wasn't committed to school, like at all. I had great professors. I love learning, but just the way it was set up, it really wasn't like the style that worked best for me as far as learning purposes. And so when I was in school, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So, I hate math. Like, truly, I hate math. And that becomes a big thing when you think about, okay, well, when you say you want to be a doctor, you're going to have to get over not liking math. Like science, I'm perfectly fine at. Sit me down in front of some algebra, I'm like, there's nothing upstairs in my head. So that was a big thing. And then I had went into communications, and I actually wanted to do sports broadcasting. But I'm a little picky, and I really only wanted to do sports broadcasting for maybe like football and basketball. And
I'm you got to know a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, that didn't really work. And it was so crazy because I was really in my last like 2 semesters of school, and I had switched my major because of anything else that I would really want to do would be like be a teacher. And I think my mom almost had a heart attack
I believe it.
when I told her. She was like, why would you do that? And I was like, well, I just don't want to be in communications anymore. Like, it's just not for me. It's too broad. And that was the thing. I was actually looking for different jobs and, like, what was available. And because I was kind of so late getting into the game, I really didn't have any other prior experience, like internships and working with local teams and stuff like that. And I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. Like, I really can't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And I've always been great with kids. So that was kind of like the leading into deciding to go into early childhood education. And of course, that's when COVID happened. So we were in school. I was doing great. It was going great. And then COVID happened, and they were like, okay, you're doing online schooling until further notice. And I said, well, y'all might be, but I'm not.
Yeah, I ain't signed up for this. I ain't signed up for that.
Like, I'll see y'all, when you go back in person. And surprisingly, obviously during COVID, you're not supposed to be having any parties. You're not supposed to be doing get-togethers. I think 2020 was the best year I had in business, which it was so surprising because I'm like, why are y'all buying all these cakes? Like, y'all are not supposed to be having no parties. But it really had worked out. Like, I can't be mad, but...
So you was the person funding all these parties. You was having parties. They was coming to you.
For real. And I was telling people, like, don't tell nobody you got this cake from me because I don't want anybody coming after
hilarious.
me. But, yeah, it was, like, a great year. And, like, we did go back and forth. Like, it was really hard because my parents, they hold value to getting a college degree. Like, it's really big for both of my parents. And after a while, just seeing how, like, the progression of my work came, how many orders I was taking, how late I was staying up at night, how early I'm getting up. My dad was kind of like, I'm okay if you don't go back to school. And my mom was kind of like, yeah, if you don't go back to school, but you keep this up, then I don't have any issue with that. So it really worked out because for a while it really was hard because my mom, she kept asking me, like, did you sign up for classes? And I was like, I'm going to do it next week. She'd be like, did you sign up for classes? I'm like, I'm going to do it next week. And when I told my dad, that was a whole nother story because he's like, well, why wouldn't you be going to school? But when they actually see me working, then it's like, that's not for her. And it took a while for them to understand that, but they do now. So that's a good thing for me.